Have you ever handed your book over to beta readers and then absolutely dreaded reading their feedback? I'm Hope, I'm 25, and I sent my debut novel to 3 different beta readers, and I finally got all that feedback back. And I want to show you behind the scenes of going through all of their advice and criticism and just talk about how I'm going to move forward and what I'm taking to heart and what I may be just leaving behind. First, I want to say hi, welcome if you're new. Also, want to talk about my shirt real quick. Felt like this was fitting for the video. But yeah, I had 3 beta readers, technically have 4, but the fourth one is one of my sisters, and I gave it to her kind of late, so she's still reading it. No pressure there, but I did get 3, the other 3, their feedback. I think I got it all by yesterday. And so I kind of just want to talk about the experience and all the things. So I actually want to start with why their feedback actually matters. So I opted for beta readers because I looked into getting like hiring an editor, and I was quoted based on the word count I had at the time. I was quoted almost $1,500, I think. I had maybe 60,000 words. That was not in my budget, unfortunately. I did know it was going to be fairly expensive. However, I'm not sure I really expected it to be that much. Although, as much as I've learned over the entire process, I definitely can see why it's quite expensive. Um, I'm also aiming to self-publish, so a lot of the cost already has come out of my pocket, including I wanted to own my ISBN numbers, so I paid for a bulk pack of those, and I'm not planning to use the free ISBN offered from KDP. So that came out of pocket, and then having an editor as well would have came out of pocket. So I opted for the usual go-to for indie authors that aim to self-publish, and just found some beta readers willing to read and give me feedback. Looks like first video in a while, he finally wants to be in. You say hi? So how I went about the process is I made a post and I posted it on my social media pages, and I'll put it here so I can show. Um, I posted this and I made a Google form and just had it open for a week or 2. I can't remember. I'm sure maybe the post will say. I had it open and just let people sign up. And when the deadline came, I closed it and just went through the list of all that signed up. I did have a total of 6 people sign up, and for me, I don't know about anybody else's journey, but I know myself and my brain, and I just knew that having 6 different people's feedback would be quite a bit, and I would not be able to keep the story like the way that I intended it to be, with so much outside feedback. So I just sent a mass email to all of them, mainly because the answers that I got from the questions that I put in my Google form were like, what's your favorite genre? Have you ever beta read before? A few like kind of reminders. I wanted them to know that there were a few like spicier scenes that may not be everybody's type, so I made sure that they knew that before they continued and submitted their interest. A lot of the answers that I got to those questions were actually like very beneficial, and I felt like there wasn't a single person that signed up that I was like, oh, I don't know if I want them to beta read for me because maybe this genre wasn't their type. I feel like everybody that signed up was actually could actually help. So I just sent a mass email and asked whoever was still interested to reply back with continued interest, and I would just send them the manuscript. I actually got 3 responses almost immediately, so I just went with those 3, and I gave them 2 weeks to do it. And now, after finally getting the feedback back, it has been a month, and I will say I've definitely learned that 2 weeks is not reasonable. Maybe 2 weeks for like ARC readers, but beta reading, you definitely need more time. And I apologize to those that beta read for me, because I definitely realize now that was quite a bit of a time crunch. And I'm truly sorry. For next time, I know not to expect it back in 2 weeks. But I chose the 3 that responded and just sent it to them and waited for them to get back to me. When I sent them the manuscript, I was mainly looking for like reader perspective. I genuinely wanted to know if the characters were likable, if the plot progression made sense, or if there's anything that I mentioned and then suddenly didn't mention anymore, and like plot hole type things. Um, actually printed out the feedback that I received, because I seem to do better with like crossing things out on a list. I will say that one of the beta readers I had gave me more like down to like chapter, paragraph number, what I wrote, and then why they're not too sure about it, and then how they think I could improve it. And I think total I had maybe, I don't know, I want to say maybe close to 60, 70 pages from just one beta reader, which um, was insanely helpful. I will say my initial response was kind of like, dang. Like, kind of had to really fight my brain a little bit to get that much feedback back, in especially because this person gave it back in increments, so like 10 or so chapters at a time. And it was it was hard, I will say that, because I don't know, to receive an email and, you get a little excited, a little like nervous, you click on the email, and then you see it's a 26-page document. I had to remind myself that their role was to help me with pointing these things out just so I can make it stronger. So that's what I did. I reminded myself. Unfortunately, because I got this feedback in increments, I didn't really have the chance to film reactions when I got them. Although I do want to show some things that I thought were really cool, and I'll show them in this next clip. I wanted to look for one that wasn't too, like, doesn't share too much, I guess. But um, this beta reader actually sent me back my whole, like, manuscript that I sent, and they drew little writing things all over the page, little hearts, things they liked, they highlighted. And I just want to, I think this is hilarious, so I want to mention this. But drew a little person with a red flag. Hilarious. They were accurate though. That part is extremely red flag. Um, they gave me extensive feedback, and I will forever be grateful. Um, I do have a clip from another beta reader that got me their feedback. They got it to me right around the 2 week mark, and I will insert that clip because that's the only one of the 3 that I got actual feedback. Like, I set up the camera and then recorded myself opening that email, and I do want to show that because that was an actual genuine response. So I want to put that next. It is currently June 12th at 9:50 p.m. and I just got my very first full book um, feedback from a beta reader, and I do not. As soon as I saw the email come through, I cannot wait till tomorrow. So I real quick set up the camera, and I'm about to open the email and look at some of the feedback that I got. Okay. So she says, your book had me on the edge of my seat the whole entire time, and wishing I could forget everything and read it in one sitting. From start to finish, I was hooked. The plotline had twists that I was hoping for, but also didn't see coming. Love that. I loved all the characters in the diversity in them all. The story flowed nicely and it was easy to follow. I've never beta read before and I truly loved it. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. I will definitely be buying it when it comes available to the public and recommending it to everyone I know. Oh my gosh. If you're watching this, Sarah, by any chance, thank you. I'm really happy you loved it. And saying like loved all the characters is crazy because I know some of them were like really hard to love. um so one of her questions is, do the chapters line up with the Spotify playlist? That's actually something that I was considering doing, like maybe the playlist order like fitting in with the storyline, or maybe I'm not even sure how many songs are on the playlist. Maybe if by chance there's like enough songs for the number of chapters, then maybe I could do like one, like a song in the chapter part, like chapter 5, who Matt, and then a song. I don't know. As of right now, they aren't in order, so um that's the answer to that one. Um yeah, I'm seeing some like several like grammar corrections, which I expected. A couple. I love the comment about the Cybertruck. Yes, I had to. Um, at least from her, I'm not seeing any like huge like plot things that need fixed, which is great. I do have two other beta readers though that I haven't gotten full feedback from, so I'm really excited to get to work on this feedback and um get into the book and start fixing these things. And I don't know, I feel like right now I just need to like sit through the like pull back up the email again. It's just crazy. This is the first like for the whole process of writing the book, it's just been me. Like it's writing for me at least. I don't feel like it should be this way because I do think it's important to have community and to have like friends that also do the same hobbies, or maybe simply support your hobby, but you can also do like with them, around them, talk to them about it. For me, a lot of the process has been alone. And so all the way up till the end, there hasn't been a single person that's read the entire book besides me. And this is the first feedback I'm getting. So Sarah is the first one to have read the entire book. Um, and she hasn't beta read before, so I expected to get more grammar based feedback, which is totally fine. I knew that when I chose her to be a beta reader, but Sarah, if you're watching still, this is going to be on my mind for the next like week straight. I'm not kidding. I This is just an incredible part of the process. I'm really thankful. Thank you so much for reading it. I'm gonna sit here and probably cry. The third person that I had beta read for me got their feedback to me this past Sunday. Today is July 3rd. So this past Sunday they got it back to me. It was about a month, and in this feedback I actually um experienced something that I cannot stop thinking about. And I've reached out to other people for feedback based on like what they're recommending I do, and the feedback I'm receiving is quite interesting because I'm not sure I entirely agree. And that is the next thing I actually want to talk about is tough feedback and kind of stuff that I don't know that I'm going to take to heart because everybody has their own opinion and things that they like and don't like. And with this one specifically, I truly feel that if I change this, I'm changing my entire character. And I don't know, I don't, I just don't agree. I don't see my character doing this. The feedback they gave is actually speaking directly to the emotional responses of my MMC. This is what an MMC is uh, if you're not aware. Um, they actually said, and I'll read it straight from the paper. They said, as much as I love emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, I am unsure about the male character's emotional responses if they're realistic. Unfortunately, our boys have been raised from very young ages to be more tough and to not show emotions, etc. I don't think they would cry this often, maybe get mad, angry, be passionate, talk their feelings out, sure. I think that would be more believable than if they had tears rolling down their cheeks. And as unfortunate as that is, true, yes. Um, I want to talk about why I don't necessarily agree because as you read through my my story, my MMC, Matt talks a lot about his past and the things that he saw his father doing to his mom, like abuse. He's grown up to actually despise that. He hates it. That is one of the main motivators that he helps my FMC because of. He catches all the signs and he knows that she needs out and he's willing to help her. Um, Something obviously in my book I don't come right out and say this, but I thought it would be quite clear based on his past and his behavior current that his biggest goal is to not be like his dad. So for me to straight up change his reaction to what is one of his like biggest triggers and make him like aggressive just doesn't fit with who I built Matt to be. I hope that makes sense. And it took the past what 48 hours of thinking about that to realize that this feedback is just feedback and I don't have to change every single thing based on what these beta readers tell me to fix or suggest me to fix. And that is definitely one that I won't be taking to to editing and actually changing. Yeah, I don't know. I think I like Matt the way he is. So that's definitely an interesting thing because I don't know if I wasn't really thinking about that when it like when it comes to getting feedback, but I'm definitely not taking that one to heart. Some of the positive surprises though have been like really nice to hear. I've gotten some feedback on like budding friendships, little FaceTime calls between characters, a date that they go on. This person actually, their very last one says more Lou, and that's actually my MMC Matt has a cat, and I named it Lou, and they said more Lou. So that was hilarious. But I was really nervous about the spicier scenes, um, especially because I plan to self-publish under my own name. So, your friends and family want to be supportive and read what you wrote, and to think that they're going to read a descriptively spicy scene that I wrote is kind of nerve-wracking, but I just did what my heart wanted and wrote that out, and I was a little unsure about it. But to get feedback that is like full on shock and um, I don't have the page up, but there were notes all over the side that was like, "Oh my gosh, this is speechless. Love this, all the things," and that was really relieving to read because I was definitely not feeling as confident for those scenes. But um, I think they hit the beta readers pretty well, and I think I'm much more proud of them now, which is a nice feeling. To close this out, I just want to talk to I want to ask the other maybe writers that have gone through this process before. I'm curious to know how this went for you, or how many beta readers you've done or had in the past. Have you ever gotten feedback that you didn't agree with? How do you go about like kind of ignoring those points that you don't agree with and just moving past them when you know somebody has that kind of opinion? I will say I've realized this is a very overwhelming process throughout in the writing space, and the past month has been extremely draining. Um, Constantly looking at suggestions for improvements has definitely been hitting my brain in ways that I'm I'm just very very hopeful and looking forward to getting this done and mm, getting back into writing. This editing is not. I really thought it would be the most fun part of the process. I'm quickly learning that I miss just sitting here and letting my brain spew scenes and create characters, and oh my gosh, I just miss all that. So um, I actually have a formatting date booked, and I have, as of today, July 3rd, sorry, I have 52 days to finish. I've got this. I know I've got this, but I'm trying to remind myself that it is my book. I take the feedback I want and just leave the rest. I do wish there was more I could share. However, a lot of the notes and feedback I got were like um, specifically to bigger scenes. I did get a couple like grammar things, and um, I don't like this word choice and stuff like that, but um, I don't think that's really fun to go through. I did make several mistakes, like I full on changed somebody's eye color in the middle, like from the beginning it was a certain color, and later I just wrote it as a whole different color. Um, I'm writing a small town romance, and I wrote in a location that was just way too big. It didn't make sense based on being in a small town. Um, Certain distances to go places were just too close or too far. It didn't make sense. Um, Other locations being in said small town didn't make sense. So to get a lot of those things messaged or emailed back to me was kind of a felt like a punch to the throat, because I mean, not on them but on me, because like what was I thinking, kind of thing. But that is the point of having them. They're making my book stronger. The reason they're pointing those things out is because they care to help me make it as strong as the book can be. Um, but yeah, if you liked this, give it a like. Um, let's do this emoji. I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out when I edit. I'll put something here. If you enjoyed, hopefully you feel like you can subscribe. I been trying. Coming up with concepts for videos has been kind of difficult, especially because I'm on a deadline, but I do enjoy just sitting in front of the camera and talking about writing, which is just something that I've come to love. Um, but yeah, thanks for being here. I hope you have a good week, and I really do hope to see you next time.